interpretation of the events was different. There was a text message that, if I can read, my sister-in-law sent to me about Rumla's response that she says is completely inaccurate. And so I don't know if, since there is a record, if it's okay for me to read that as a way to show the other side's story, just because it's been brought up. I don't really think it's that relevant because, again, it's just he say, she said, like you said.
This is a text message from who?
So my wife had texted my sister-in-law happy birthday, and then my sister-in-law Fizza had responded, kind of sharing how she felt, knowing that my wife had these allegations. And I have her and her response. If you want, I can read it out loud.
You know what? Let me.
Or if
well, actually,
I'm sure you have it too. Yeah.
Okay.
And I also want to point out that I have the phone call that his brother called me recorded. I have the phone call recorded if anybody wants to.
Is it the one that starts with thanks and having a tough time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have, and then wife responds, Fizza responds after that. And so if you want, you can reference both, but I'm sure she, has the same thing.
I also have the phone call recorded that I have also mentioned to his parents. I said what Bhai said was very disrespectful to me, and it should not have been said. And instead of saying, okay, I understand that how you took it was offensive, but that's not how we meant it, they just want to keep things confrontational.
Again, I apologize for anyone in my family.
I'm assuming, Osama, that you haven't told. I'm guessing Fizza didn't know. I guess the extent of the allegations is my assumption, right?
They know. It's all.
Exactly.
I did tell them.
And your parents, I'm assuming, don't know.
They have asked about it, and I have talked to them about it.
But they don't know the extent.
Sure, look, I don't care. I couldn't care less about myself at all. But a decision gets made, and this happens all the time in Gaza, or with these decisions. Why people can get upset, and trust me, we're only have no interest in them. Just trying to do what's best for you guys and for your kids. Is then parents are told, right? Parents say, oh, why did the Ghazi say this? Why did the Ghazi say that? Or something like that, or rule this. And they don't have this testimony, and they don't know this information, and it's pieced together by whatever one side's telling. It goes both ways, of course. They can hate me. I couldn't care less. But what I'm getting at is, I think for your own good, Osama, you need to come as clean as can be with the ones that are closest to you. That's kind of why I was asking, does your parents know and whatnot? And yeah, maybe with your mom, whatever. You talk to your dad, and your dad is somebody who I can guarantee you is going to be supportive, no matter how bad you make it for yourself. Your dad is going to support you, right? You have kids. You would put a bullet in the head of somebody for your kids. I would, right? So your dad's going to support you no matter what, and you're going to need support like that. As embarrassing as it might be. Maybe your brother as well. I don't know. Maybe your older brother or something.
I confided in them all. I now have a stronger relationship with my sister-in-laws and my brothers I've ever had.
Well, I mean, I don't know your relationships, but I'm talking to your sister-in-laws about this. Sounds to be the most awkward thing in the world.
It is, and it's
because this is something that is go get an outside sex therapist that these people go to for these 12 steps and so on and so forth. That for them, but with your family. I messed up. That's fine.
It wasn't that I wanted. I specifically told my wife, please don't tell my family. Let me handle it. And then she texted. And so it was more like I didn't.
But you didn't text. What you texted?
The text that he's referring to happened before again the Khulafat files.
Okay.
They found out that I had left.
Okay. And they were saying, come back.
So Fizza, and again, every conversation that we were talking about, sister-in-law is referring to Fizza because that's the only person I've had a conversation about this. So she was basically telling me, come back, do this, do that. She was telling me about her story, and she said that the parents needed to step up, get help, and obviously she didn't know any of the detail, and I told her the parents were informed, nothing happened, and at that time she was like, oh no, Sama told us all of this stuff, and then she kept insisting that I needed to be a better mom. And
you assumed that she now knew that.
Because she said, Sama has told us everything, and we were really heartbroken.
And let's just, because we're all being open here. You told them, hey, I messed up, I had some infidelity. and probably that was it, or something like that. But he didn't go into the details,
Some
right?
of the, we went over the
Because
No, that was after I had talked to Fiza. That's when Osama also told me that Anas Pai got really mad and he called me.
Well, what I mean is there's a difference between, I'm guessing, there's a difference between, and depending on whose household or whoever the person's infidelity one time or something, and somebody trying to make amends versus an ongoing thing. And that's where I think
I
your family would understand. Wait a minute, I know Osama. He's a good guy. He's as honest as can be, so on and so forth. He needs help. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I think it's important for that, not only for them understanding some of these types of decisions and why, for example, Donald needs to be here or whatever, on when they're coming to your house and things like that, not because of, okay, you messed up one time, you have an issue. You messed up many times, fine. That's her reasoning for this anger, but also for your own health. It sucks. I mean, this is the hardest. Yeah, this is difficult. And it's embarrassing and it's difficult and so on. But running away from it won't do anything and so on. And you know that. So I think the talking with the family, because this type of stuff is not good for the boys at all if they're.
But I told them in the very beginning, and even if you want me to produce a phone call, I even talked to Pai that I've been very civil. I want the kids to have a really good relationship with the family, because I want them to have those grandparents that I
their dad and their chacha and whatnot.
Exactly, and I even texted Talha that I want him to be in the family because I want them to have good role models. And again, those texts are not being produced, but when I get harassed, then I have to speak up for myself and my kids. Clearly, they're saying that I'm not wrong, and they kept saying that what do I have to lose? I have my kids to lose my life to.
So I mean, you obviously care for your kids, and you're expressing you still want some reconciliation or care or whatnot. I think that you're still hurting, with this type of stuff too, because again, I've asked straight up, I was like, what has she done that warrants, you either stepping out, which obviously we know that's not her, that's something that's your issue, or, is she, I'm making jokes, but every wife, guy, will have arguments and can annoy and whatnot and so on.
My wife, I don't want to. There's nothing she
Okay,
came into marriage as a pure first, as any envy, and I
so that's the situation. I mean, I can't see anything around that aspect, which I'm saying, hey, give it to me now. Now's the time to give it to me. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward on why she's asked for khula. I mean, my only question was why it took so long, and my answer I'm seeing is that it sounds like she was just trying to be supportive. I mean, the first thing off the top of my head comes over, why would you have a kid or a second kid and stuff? And I'm thinking, okay, well maybe it's for support issues or whatever it is, but.
And even now, he wanted to have a third one, and I said, it's not happening. I'm not putting in a third person online.
I don't know how you expect it. I mean, it's again, I'm not going to harp on, but the dangers, the diseases, like it's that it's to the point where you to get the help you need, you probably need your family support. And again, I don't know the relationship you have with your dad, but as we get older, I know our relationships get to the point where me and my dad are best friends. We can talk about anything in the world. I had no idea how cool my dad was when we're hanging out. But when I was a kid, I was as straight as can be, right? And
my trauma starts from my relationship with my parents, and so it's not something I feel entirely comfortable talking about with
well, then you need to find somebody. Again, I kind of stopped and stepped away when you started talking about 4th, 5th grade. I didn't know if you wanted to, and I didn't really want to in front of anybody here talk about that type of trauma. And I think I'm going beyond the scope of being a Ghazi here, but you understand what I'm getting at.
And I do. I'm slowly opening up to my family because I realized that past is the past, and I need to work on it myself. And so I do. I mean, I talk to people pretty much every day. I mean, Ramadan has been a little bit less because we're focusing.
But what
introspection.
What you don't want a situation in which your parents, because at some point, you know, the kids are 12, 13, 14 years old, and they're hanging out at your house with your parents, and your parents are talking negative, right? Or in the next year or two about her
Oh,
and about their mom.
Yeah,